Okay, just stop for a second. Think about all the work you've put in this week, this month, this entire year. All that running around, all that frantic energy. What if it's not just failing to get you ahead? What if it's the very thing that's keeping you broke? We've all been sold this idea that more hustle is the answer. But today, we're going to talk about why that's probably dead wrong. Now, let's get one thing straight because this is so important. This is not about your work ethic. You are not lazy. You are not failing. You're just reacting too much. This quote right here, this is basically the key that unlocks everything. It explains why years of your hard work might feel like you've gone nowhere. See, the real enemy isn't doing nothing. It's the constant, panicked reacting. It sounds completely backward, doesn't it? I mean, how can doing more lead to less progress? Well, in the next few minutes, we're not just going to talk about this weird paradox. We're going to expose this invisible penalty that's been sabotaging you, and I'm going to hand you a simple 3-step protocol that you can literally use today to protect your future from your own short-term panic. All right, so let's dive into the first piece of this puzzle, the hustle trap. Just picture a treadmill. You're on it, you're running, you're sweating, you are giving it absolutely everything you've got. You feel like you're moving, right? Like you're getting somewhere? But when you finally look up, you realize you haven't moved an inch. That feeling, that right there, is the trap. And this is the advice we all hear, isn't it? Just pivot, hustle harder, adapt. And it sounds so empowering, like you're taking control of your life. But here's what nobody tells you. This constant pivoting, it isn't really adaptation. It's actually a form of self-sabotage. And this is where we fool ourselves. On the left, that's what we tell ourselves we're doing. I'm taking action. I'm fixing my life. But the reality, over on the right, is a lot less glamorous. We're not really taking action. We're just confusing feeling urgent with making progress. We're not moving forward. We're just burning a ton of energy to feel like we're in control, while we're actually just running in place. And every single time you jump from one thing to the next, you pay this hidden tax, an invisible cost that just kills all of your momentum. We call it the reset penalty, and honestly, it's probably the biggest reason you feel so stuck. So here's why this is so bad. Every time you panic and hit that reset button, you're not just going back to square one. You're basically setting fire to all the progress you already made. The skills you were learning, the connections you were making, the compounding effect of your effort. It's like planting a seed in a garden and then digging it up a week later to see if it's growing. You never give anything a real chance. And this creates this awful loop, this hamster wheel. Does this look familiar? It starts with feeling anxious. That anxiety makes you panic and pivot to something new. A new job, a new side hustle, whatever. That pivot forces you to pay the reset penalty, which wipes out your progress and lands you right back at the beginning, feeling anxious all over again. It's a perfect prison, and we're the ones who built it. So how do you break this cycle? It's not with another hustle. The way out is something that our society has taught us as, well, weak and passive and really boring. But we're going to reframe it. We're going to start treating it like a weapon. We are talking about the art of aggressive patience. Now, if you've stayed with me this far, you're ready for the real game changer. This is the one thing that separates people who stay stuck from those who build real lasting wealth. It's this. Wealth isn't built in the exciting sprint at the start. It's forged in the long, quiet, and honestly, painfully boring marathon in the middle. The magic happens when you just let things grow, uninterrupted. Okay, so let's be super clear. This is not about just sitting around and waiting. Active patience is a contact sport. It is a war you fight against your own impulses every single day. It's about protecting your long-term goals from your short-term feelings. Every time you make one of these boring choices, you're trading a little bit of your short-term ego for a massive amount of long-term power. All right, theory is great. But how do you actually practice this when you're tired and your willpower is basically zero? Well, you don't. You don't rely on willpower. You build a system. You build a shield. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. With a simple framework you can set up the second this is over. We're going to call this the decision distance protocol. Here are your 3 layers of defense. First, the 72-hour rule. Any non-emergency decision over, say, $100, you force yourself to wait 3 days. That lets the emotional fever break. Second, automate the boring. Your savings, your debt payments, get them automated to leave your account the second you get paid. You pay your future self first before your present self can talk you out of it. And third, add friction. This one's my favorite. Go delete your saved credit card info from every site. That simple act of having to get up, find your wallet, and type in 16 digits is often enough to kill a bad impulse buy right in its tracks. And when you put this shield into place, something really amazing starts to happen. It stops being about just managing money. You're literally rewiring your brain. You're shifting your whole identity from someone who's a victim of their feelings to someone who is actually in control. You move from panic to power. This is the choice right here. On the left, you got the reactive brain. It's always urgent, always chasing the next exciting thing, and spending money to feel better in the moment. And on the right, you've got the patient brain, calmly building leverage, seeing the big picture, and protecting its future self. It's the difference between being a pawn in the game and being a player. The only question is, which brain are you choosing to feed? And look, if you take only one thing away from all of this, let it be this. The hardest part of building wealth isn't making a good decision one time. It's protecting that good decision from your future anxious self. It's about planting the seed and then having the discipline not to dig it up every 5 minutes to check on it. Your job isn't to constantly find new seeds. It's to protect the one you already planted. Which really brings us to a whole new definition of wealth. Forget the number in your bank account for a second. True wealth is the distance you can create between something bad happening and your emotional reaction to it. When that unexpected bill shows up or the market dips, how much space do you have before you start to panic? That space, that gap, that is real financial freedom. So I'll leave you with this. How wide is your gap? And what's one tiny thing you can do today to make it just a little bit wider?